is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
This season marks a new beginning. New heights will be reached. New records will be broken. A new champion will be crowned. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. You're watching the premier American open wheel series on iRacing. The Lionheart IndyCar series presented by First Medical Equipment starts now.
Two races to go in the Season 6 campaign, and there is no shortage of storylines. Front page. Point leader Adam Blocker has been struggling of late, but the penultimate round has a road course scheduled where Blocker has won 6 of 7 this season. Below the fold, Blocker's Adrenaline Motorsports teammate Andrew Havakech Kinsella was at the top of the standings for most of the first half of the season until giving away to Blocker. Kinsella is no slouch on road courses either, having yet to finish outside the top 5 on any twisty circuit. Page 2, the hardest driver of the last 9 races has been Dan Guerin. Dandy Dan's late season charge has made up for a horrible 2018 start and is now a legitimate threat for the crown. This afternoon's event will make the headlines going into next week's Double Points season finale. Presented by First Medical Equipment, it's the Lock Precision Grand Prix of Road America, Round 23 on the Lionheart IndyCar Season 6 Championship schedule. And you can see all the simulated Dallara IR18 action from green flag to Victory Donuts live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. A big Badger State hello and welcome to another GSRC broadcast and the Countdown to Green presented by the Sim Pit. As cyberspace flows into your place on IESN, over the next 15 minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to appreciate the Lock Precision Grand Prix of Load America that will immediately follow as we count down to green. Yours truly, Bill Soupson, joined by former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn to bring you our Word's Eye view. Amjad Yaman has director duties, armed with cameras, locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. Okay, folks, I spent a month in Wisconsin one winter weekend, but weather and a sense of self-preservation prevented me from visiting this afternoon's venue. But fortunately, sitting next to me is a man who not only has visited this place, but actually has raced on it. Richie Hearn, tell the viewers a little bit about Road America.
Yeah, and thanks, Soup. And folks, before I talk about the track, let me remind you that everything during the Countdown to Green comes courtesy of its sponsor, the Sim Pit. The Sim Pit's an entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing. Its focus is to bring you news, reviews, and information from around the world about sim racing hardware and software. It also focuses on what it takes to be a better sim racer with instructional video and the how-tos that will help your performance on the virtual track. Check it out on thesimpit.com. And speaking of virtual tracks, let's talk about today's venue. Here we are at Road America, established in 1955. This legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road course has been challenging the world's best racers for over 60 years. It's located on 640 acres on park-like grounds between Milwaukee and Green Bay and Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. The rolling terrain offers great viewing opportunities for all its fans. The length of this track tends to bring out the worst in cars, with a string of mechanical failures down the years producing unlikely winners. The track itself remains virtually unchanged to this day, though advances in safety requirements have transformed the look of this place from a country roadside to a modern racing circuit, complete with wide grass runoffs. Considered by some to be the best test of road racing in America, the best way for you, the viewer, to get an idea of what this place is like is to jump on board that GSRC IR-18 and take a lap around America's National Park of Speed.
All right, we've got Stefan Schlacker in the GSRC IR-18, so let's do a lap around Road America. Coming down to turn 1, you'd expect this to be one of the best places to pass, but because the braking happens so late, it'll be kind of tough to pull it off unless you're fully alongside the car you're fighting. And depending on how you take the corner, you could see that battle continue down here to turn 3. But this is one of the most important corners on the track. With it dumping you onto the moraine sweep, you really need a good exit. This is one of the longest straights on the circuit, and it leads into one of the most popular passing spots, turn 5. But watch out if you try to play chicken on the brakes. The drop downhill and the high speeds make it incredibly easy to embarrass yourself by blowing the corner. Lap 1 also commonly sees accidents happen with the cars so bunched up and everyone eager to overtake. Quickly, you're climbing back uphill towards 6, which has a very difficult entry. The crest right at turn in tends to unsettle the car. From there, you fly through 7, which is flat out in the IndyCar, and that takes us into the hurry downs where you've got another drop in elevation. It's not a long stretch to here, but because it's a sharper corner, you sometimes see surprise attacks. The track now flows into the carousel, and while the downforce of the IndyCar allows you to stay flat out for a while, you will need a little lift to make it through and set up the exit. This is an important place to try to give yourself a good run too, because there's no lifting through the kink. Your foot stays flat out all the way through the kettle bottoms, weaving back and forth a little bit until Canada Corner. This is another spot where a lot of pass attempts unfold, and just like turn 5, it sees a lot of drivers outbrake themselves and wind up in the gravel. Also, you've got to be careful putting the power down so as not to spin it off the corner. Then comes Bill Mitchell Bend, which needs some bravery and maybe a tiny confidence lift to get through cleanly. Quickly, you've got to switch sides and set up for the final corner. Get a poor run off of here and you're going to be a sitting duck on your way down to the first turn. But hopefully, if you've kept it together, you've now finished a lap around Road America.
Joe Peak doing what nobody does better, talking and taking the viewer around a race course. This time, Road America. All right, let me take you a lap around the point standings, and we're going to start with the Lionheart IndyCar Series driver standings presented by First Medical Equipment. No surprise here, really the story is all about the top 3. We talked about it in the opening. Adam Blocker, Andy Kinsella, and Dandy Dan Guerin. You can see that they're all within 31 points of each other. Guerin has been coming on strong of late. However this plays out, I think everyone should be within striking distance when they go to Auto Club Speedway for the double point grand finale going up there. A couple other guys to look at, Michael Goodman and Brian Yosick. Brian Yosick had a taste of the lead for a little while in this season before he faded away down into 5th. Let's go ahead and look at the team standings now, and basically this one is all wrapped up as soon as Blocker, Brandt, Kinsella, Schowen, or Stouffer, one of those guys actually takes the green flag. Adrenaline Motorsports will clinch the team championship. They have truly been the dominant team today. Not a lot of shaking up or down going on here with this on only one race to go. There has been a tight battle down there for that final spot in the top 5 between Dragonfly Racing and 8-Ball Motorsports. Dragonfly now up a spot, holding that, but only a few points back are the guys of Michael Goodman and Dustin Weaver sitting down there for 8-Ball Motorsports. Only 2 drivers down there. Now, you talk about Dustin Weaver. Rich has got a little more to say about him right now as we look at the rookie standings.
Yeah, we're looking at the Lionheart IndyCar Series Rookie of the Year standings presented by Butt Kicker. And yes, it pretty much is a 2-horse battle to the end here with number 66 Weaver leading only by 8 points over Steven Larkamp. Samuel Ryman's sitting in 3rd, but he's a healthy 138 points back. It is noted that Weaver and Larkamp are also sitting 6th and 7th in the overall standings as well. So those guys have been going back and forth every race. One's in the lead, one's not. One's in the lead, one's not. So we should be able to watch this right to the end.
Thank you, Richie. Now, considered the premier fixed setup racing league for the Dallara IR-18 on the iRacing service, the Lionheart IndyCar Series honors the memory of the late Dan Weldon. And let me tell you, it is impossible to segue from Dan Weldon, who everybody holds in such great esteem, to Professor Lugnut, who no one wants to hold at all. Nevertheless, here he is once again. Professor, what you gonna teach us today?
Soup.
Okay, you got the machines working there, Professor.
Hang on. I got to get out of the lab. Hang on. While I'm getting out of the lab, do this now. Subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network. If you're watching, subscribe now. We're just a few short subscriptions shy of 10,000 subscriptions on the iRacing Esports Network. Just born in early July. And yes, now we're already at 10K. So here you are. Tonight, Professor Lugnut said, you know what, Soup, Richie, you want to change the handling of the Dallara IR18 without changing the actual setup? I can make that change for you in 2 words. Steering ratio. Let's examine how the tires react when the driver moves the actual racing wheel. A faster steering ratio results in more left-right movement of the tires with little rotation of the steering wheel. So if you're not turning that wheel a lot, you're actually getting more movement of the tires. Now let's reverse the concept and slow the steering ratio down, and that results in less left-right movement of the tire with much more rotation of the steering wheel. You get it, right? Soup, you get it, right?
I got it.
Okay, all right. Is this important? Well, yeah, you bet it is. Steering ratio adjustments are one of the few that iRacing actually allow in a fixed setup environment. IR18s, it's one of the few variables they actually have left entirely to the driver. It's all up to the driver's preference. Some drivers prefer the quick reaction of a fast ratio, while others prefer the more measured response of a slower steering ratio. Remember, it's all about finding that perfect apex here at Road America. Next time we talk astrophysics for dummies. Back to the lab. So much to do, so little time.
Thank you, Professor Lugnut. That's worth the price of admission right there. Let's go to something a little more straightforward. Richie, want to talk about these series details?
Yeah, and these series details come to us thanks to the SimPit. Here we are, Season 6 of the Lionheart IndyCar Series. We're round 23 of 24. They allow 3 driver drops during the season, so those are calculated into the points. We're obviously using the new Dallara IR18. The setups are adjusted, but they are fixed. And like he said, the only thing you can really change is the steering ratio per driver. We're working on cash and prizes, though, totaling $6,402.
I found that if you put the car in the wall, you can change like the camber and the toe-in also, but that's probably not recommended. All right, let's go ahead. We've done all of our business now. Let's go ahead and take a look what the business is like on the track as qualifying is going on. A bit of a surprise at the top, as it is Justin Weaver sitting up there in his Moby Dickey's machine on the pole.
Yeah, so far he's doing a good job there. That's a really nice time, 141.3. He's only a couple hundredths faster than Adam Blocker, who's our points leader. But Connor Harrington sitting in third at the moment. He's had some good runs this season. And there we go, Dan Guerin really finishing up the season strong. Andrew Kinsella struggling a little bit, 9th spot. He's got some work to do. He hasn't always qualified the best, but he's a really good racer, so he always gets himself to the front.
Looking at Adam Blocker. He just got the pole, by the way. Coming off winning the Lionheart Retro Championship, so he's looking to do the double.
Yeah, just by about 100th of a second there, 1400ths of a second, so not by much. And, you know, when you run this track, a track this long, usually the time splits are much bigger, so these guys are right on the money between each other, so it should be a great race.
You're talking about the points. You're looking at Andrew Kinsella now. He's the guy trying to run down Adam Blocker. Well, he's sitting down in 10th, seeing if he can better his 142.167.
Now working on only about 27 seconds left, so if you're not close to the finish line, you're not going to get that time counted.
Dan Guerin also able to put in a time. He sits in 6th. Looking at Scott Bolster now. What's interesting are the 2 rookies that Richie highlighted. They're sitting right up there. Justin Weaver in 2nd. Stefan Larkamp in 4th.
Yeah, and that battle, like you showed, is only 8 points, so every position is going to matter, although the last race is double points, so no matter what happens here, we're going to go to the last race of the season.
Qualifying is done, and when it is time to go racing, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system. From HPP Simulations, designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment, HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories, they set the standard for simulation racing. If you want more information, why don't you do this? Go to hppsimulation.com. And now let me give you the HPP starting grid. We'll do it a row at a time. It is our points leader, Adam Blocker. He's going to be flanked by Justin Weaver in his Moby Dickey's machine.
Row 2 is going to be Dustin Wardlow. Good job for him. And right next to him will be Steven Larkamp.
Then we got the newcomer. He's been fast, but he hasn't been able to get the finishes so far. We're talking about Connor Harrington. He's going to be in 5th, inside of Dandy Dan Guerin.
Next row will be Michael Goodman sitting in that 7th position, and James Krahula sitting 8th.
He's pretty good on road courses, but he's back in 9th position and several spots between him and the man he's chasing, Adam Blocker. We're talking about Andrew Havakech Kinsella. He's going to be flanked by a really strong driver having a strong ending of the season, Samuel Ryman.
Right behind them in row 6 will be Scott Bolster and Brian Beard.
Fan favorite in the Baker's Dozen spot is Tyler Graff. He's going to be sighted by Chris Stouffer.
Starting in the 15th position will be Brian Yazdick. Right next to him will be Jason Galvin.
17th and 18th are going to be filled up by Isaiah Cousin Dupree and Paul Jenkins, a newcomer.
Starting 19th will be Mark Cohn and Pierre Daigle.
Hitting blackjack, it's Joe Canagan Flanagan. In the double duck spot, it's the old veteran George Enzaldo.
Starting 23rd is going to be Chris Lanini. Right next to him in 24th will be Scotty Johnson.
Quarter century mark belongs to Tony Schowen, inside of Brandon Lincoln.
Right behind them will be Big Joe Hazard and Robert Lewin.
Row 15 is populated by Matthew Mercer and Mike Rigney. Neither one of those drivers put in a qualifying time.
And on the last row here, starting 31st, will be Brian Greenlee and Ed Tutwiler.
As the cars work their way around the track, it'll give us an opportunity to talk about the onboard cameras. First one we're going to look at here is Tyler Graff, and he's going to have the lock precision onboard camera car. Lock precision, fly hard, fly safe, fly lock. Then we're going to have Mark Cohn. If you want to get yourself haptically immersed, well, pay attention to the butt kicker onboard camera machine. Ed King Tutwiler, if you're looking for some nice apparel to give somebody for Christmas, try clipping that Apex. He's on the clipping that Apex onboard camera car. All right, a little trivia question for you, Richie. You raced here 3 times, 97, 98, 99. What was your best finish?
I couldn't even tell you. You probably know better than I do.
I do. I researched it. I got graphics and everything. Take a guess.
I'm going to say 12th.
Hey, and your very first year, you did a 9th in 1990. What car do you think you were racing? Yeah, you did. What car do you think you were in? 97.
In 97, yeah, I was in the Lola Ford, I believe.
And we have a little picture of that one right now. We can bring that. There it is right there in your Ralph's Food for Less car. There you have it.
Yep, absolutely. There's been that was a good car. We unfortunately we were kind of the Reynard was the car to have, but the Lola was good, but there was only a few of us running them, so it was hard to develop.
You raced 3 times. Each one of the races were 50 laps. How many laps you think you completed in all 3 races?
All of them.
150, baby, and if you brought it home every time.
Yeah, I think if you get lapped here, you're not finishing ninth. So, I always enjoyed racing here. It's kind of a man's track. You really get to open up the car and you just kind of had to hang on. But it was. I always consider. People ask me all the time, "What's my favorite track and road course?" And this is definitely in the top 3 by far.
Is it a scary road course?
You don't think about it too much. I mean, you obviously there's not much runoff room, and going through the kink flat out at 180 miles an hour is a little sketchy, but it just had a good flow to it. There's not a lot of slow speed corners, so the trickiest part was trying to you wanted to have low downforce for the straightaways, but the more downforce you took off, the harder it was to slow down the car for those corners. So it was a little bit of a balance, and you just kind of had to get up on the wheel and just kind of drive it, and it just kind of really gives you a feel of you're just going somewhere. So it's just that compression going up the front straightaway too. I mean, it really just sits you down in the car, and it's just an awesome place to be.
Talk about corners. Here's one of the passing zones you'll see as they go down into Canada.
Canada corner up there, and now they've obviously changed the track, but we used to come up here, and then there was a bridge right there, or right at the next corner where they're at right now, and it was a blind entry but flat out. Now they've taken away the bridge, built a tunnel, and it's not quite as difficult. But here we come, getting ready for the start.
Pace car around the final corner. We'll give you the race analysis in a little while. We're looking at a 2-stop race, maybe a little bit more, we don't know. Pace car pulls in. Now don't be fooled, it's a long time until they get going. And now Adam Blocker gets them going. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows. The horses are out of the barn. Adam Blocker with a good start. Justin Weaver holding on to second. Dustin Wardlow tucking into third on the outside, trying to hold in. There is the rookie Stefan Larkamp. He's going to hold on to third. Wardlow has to relegate back into fourth position. Guerin is under attack from Connor Harrington. Here, look at Harrington for fifth. You see him on the inside there. That green car cannot make it work.
Yeah, nice. Oh, I was just about to say, nice clean start, but we got a car off here. Jason Galvin's off the track, but hopefully
Jason Galvin got together with Tyler Groff. We'll come back and take a look at that one a little later.
As they come down the hill there, that's a really tricky braking session. Then back up under the Corvette Bridge. This corner is really tight and blind, but it does lead down to the hurry down section. And as we come into this nice corner, going underneath the Bratwurst Bridge right there, speed wheel, Johnsonville Bratwurst, leading onto that carousel, it leads you onto that back straightaway.
It is still Adam Blocker out in front. Justin Weaver with that surprise qualifying position in second position, hanging on to the tail of that blue car.
Yeah, everybody's doing
a good.
I was going to say, just everybody's doing a good job, just running clean this first lap.
Field working their way through Canada right now. They are single file. One driver going off is Pierre Knight-Degla. Degla puts it in the wall. Oh no, it's Paul Jenkins. I misidentified him. It's Paul Jenkins. And if we can stay on the replay after that, then we can pan up to Matthew Mercer, who has it on. Here's Jenkins. Here we go. We can just let this run a bit, and you can watch Mercer go off as well.
It looks like Jenkins just got a little deep into the corner and got out into the gravel and clipped the wall. Looks like he's got a little damage to his front wing.
There's Mercer taking a little trip through the Wisconsin countryside.
Yeah, that's that corner I was talking about. It's blind entry, but it is flat, so if you miss your entry point, you're going to end up in the grass. Oh, got another car off there coming onto the straightaway.
Now here's Galvin's mistake early on, and Isaiah Dupree, as we talk, has had an issue.
Yep, coming down.
This is Galvin on lap 1.
Yep. Looks like he's going to get a little bit of a bump there, and out into the grass he goes. No harm, no foul. He's not happy, but he's still able to continue.
And then out of the final corner, Isaiah Cousin Dupree got loose and got collected by Mark Cohn and George Anzaldo. I think those guys, it's going to be hard for two of those drivers to continue on. Zaldo might be able to stay out there, as he is.
One thing about this track, it is old, and so it's not as wide as your current modern racetracks. So it's 2 cars wide, but not just barely, and it's really easy to drop a wheel. And not a lot of pavement out there, so once you get in that grass, it's hard to get back onto the track.
Well, if the practice session is any indication, we're going to see a lot of off tracks here today, as those guys were really struggling in the field for this place. We ride off board of our leader right now, looking off of his left rear suspension. Perfectly framed back there was the driver in second of Justin Weaver. Weaver in his familiar Moby Stickies machine. keeping pace with Blocker. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say just that. I mean, Justin Weaver's doing a great job just staying within that window with Adam Blocker. He's definitely going to pick up the draft down these long straightaways. It's a 2-car battle for the lead, and then just behind them we got Stephen Larkamp and Dustin Wardlow tied together, and then another pack right behind them. So, like I say, Justin Weaver's doing a great job, and showing his qualifying time was no fluke.
Into corner 5, you saw it on screen. That was Andrew. Have a catch. Kinsella ducked to the inside of Dan Guerin, brought rookie Connor Harrington with him. Guerin now back in 7th position, and Kinsella up to 5th after qualifying in 9th.
Yeah, Andrew trying to make hay right at the beginning. He's got his championship rival leading the race, so he's got to get up there and try to make some things happen.
Look at him coming at you. Rounding out your top 10, James Grahula in 8th, racing where he qualified. Michael Goodman down a couple spots in 9th, and rounding out your top 10, Scott Bolster.
As they head on down towards Canada corner one more time. Make that pretty tight right-hand corner, and then just accelerate up through these twisting corners, up over the rise, back into basically turn 14, leading right up onto the front straightaway once again.
We talked about Isaiah Dupree having that off out of the final corner. He's our only retirement so far. You saw Paul Jenkins get into the wall. He's taken a pit stop. Mark Cohn was collected in the Dupree incident. He's taken a stop as well, but still racing. Samuel Ryman has also come in for a stop.
Got a nice battle here between Michael Goodman and James Grahula. They got a little bit of a beehive going on behind them as well, with Chris Stover, Scott Bolster, and Brian Beard. These guys are racing tight, and I think some of these guys are just kind of settling down. It's a long race, easy to make mistakes, so just kind of get through the first half of this race so you can be strong for the second half.
As things settle down a little bit, why don't we take this opportunity to look at our race analysis so we see exactly how far we're racing and what our pit window is going to be like. There you can see we're going 31 laps. Now, they told me that the maximum fuel stint was 10. I added 1. I told the graphics department, make it 11. I think this is a 2-stopper, not a 3-stopper. Then you see the normal incident points. They're 12 and 17 get you DQ'd.
Yeah, making the pit lane here is very long. So, even if you have a short fuel, you lose a lot of time on that pit lane. So it's the whole front stretch, and the pit speed limiter starts just as you go underneath the bridge. So it's definitely a time killer. So you want to eliminate that as much as possible as they come up the front straightaway one more time. You can see right at that bridge is where right here is where the pit speed limiter starts, but the pit boxes don't come in until about now, and so it's a long time getting through there.
They are working lap number 5 right now, and it's still Blocker out in front of Weaver.
I'm not sure if Justin's just sitting in the draft trying to save some fuel. He's close enough to where he could possibly make a move, but he definitely knows he's got just a Stephen Larkamp he's battling with the championship and the rookie standings, and maybe just trying to get a little separation from. So
and of course,
left-hander. Yep, I was just going to say, going through the left-hander, back down through Hurry Downs. Got a really nice go-kart track over to their right that they do a lot of big races at, and making that left-hander at the bottom and heading back to the carousel.
And of course, because of the fuel situation, we're not really sure who is showing us what right now. It could honestly be a case that they cannot race full throttle, at risk of having to make this a 3-stop event.
Yeah, we'll definitely find out in about 6 laps or so who is doing what. I mean, Adam Blocker's out in the lead. He's pushing the air around for Justin Weaver, so we haven't seen really any moves from him. So like I said earlier, I think he might be just sitting still, just trying to save a little bit of fuel, maybe squeak out one more lap.
The driver who is on the move is Andrew Kinsella. Remember, we saw him get around Guerin. He's left Guerin behind, and also Connor Harrington, who followed him through Guerin. Kinsella now up into 5th. I'm going to give you this interval, 2.6 seconds between him and the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, in 4th.
Yeah, he's got a healthy 2-second lead over Connor Harrington. Dan Guerin starting in 6th has moved down to 7th position, so that's not something he's happy about, but we do have a long ways to go. I think we'll see some mistakes happen a little later in the race. Ooh, just right now I was just watching Justin Weaver almost made a move on Adam Blocker going down to turn 5. Got a little loose coming out, but was able to stay in touch with them as they head on back down the hill here towards that left-hander that leads on to the carousel.
We can look back at 11th position real quick. Tyler Groff just made a move on Scott Bolster to get up into 11th spot. Bolster now back to 12th, but he's being chased by Brian Yazik and Brian Beard. So a nice little 4-car battle for 11th, although I think Groff is pulling away.
Yeah, I'd like to note, I don't know what happened to Samuel Ryman. He is down in 29th position. We missed something with that. He started 10th, great qualifying spot, but he's definitely lost some spots. So he's made a mistake.
Well, he took that pit stop. Now, I'm not sure why he took that pit stop unless he thinks it's a 3-stop race and he's just doing his splash and go up front.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, that might be it. Instead of trying to squeak it out. I mean, one thing about this track that it is so long that if you do run out of gas somewhere in the back, you're not making it back. So your race is pretty much done. So maybe it was close enough to where he thought he might not worry about it, as we see Scott Bolster is now coming into the pit lane as well.
Well, he is part of the GSRC family. Maybe he has some connections with the graphic department, and he realized that when I told him to make it 11 laps, maybe he knows it is only 10 that you can go. So we'll find out. Here comes Bolster. Bolster I documented that he got passed by Tyler Groff. So Bolster comes in now, making that first stop for him.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what Adam Blocker does being in the lead, how long he can go, because making that extra pit stop, man, that's a lot of time to make.
That's why I was saying we really don't know the pace of these guys right now. Blocker's pace might be limited by what he thinks he can run and still do this on 2 stops.
I mean, they're running pretty fast lap times, as we see. 41.1 is his best. I mean, he qualified at a 41.3, so he's not holding back.
If anybody has a reputation of being able to run long, it's Andrew Kinsella, but the way Kinsella is racing right now, trying to get up to the 2 guys in front of him, that is Larkamp and Wardlow. We'll find out. Like Richie said, it's really, if they can get to lap 11, that'll tell us for sure. Now, it's possible they can run hard the first stint and only get to lap 10, and then it's a pay me now, pay me later thing. They can save on their second stint. 31 laps is what they're trying to get to. You do the math, that's 11, 10, and 10. Obviously, 10, 10, 10 doesn't get you there.
No, obviously, yep, that 1 lap short. On board on the screen right now, you can see George Anzaldo, Chris Legnini, and Big Joe kind of tagging together with each other in 15th, 16th, and 17th. Not many close battles. Justin Weaver has lost touch with Adam Blocker. He's now 1.3 seconds behind, so he's lost a little bit of speed with there.
We're looking at P3 now. Here comes the Candyman. Oh no, Weaver just lost him. From second position. Corner 6, it looks like.
Yep, right here.
And then
yep, just getting up here and just getting on the power. There's a blind end. Ooh, just comes in a little fast. Just a little half spin. Doesn't hit anything, but he definitely loses some spots to basically Larkamp, Wardlow, and I don't know if
he's out in front of Kinsella. He's right out in front of Kinsella.
Yeah, so he lost 2 spots there. So he was pushing harder than I thought.
Yep. Had that great qualifying time in second position. Now, he's in that rookie race with Stefan Larkamp. And honestly, Weaver's forte has been the ovals. Larkamp's forte has been the road courses. Weaver was going to try to turn the tables on him right now, and trying to turn the tables, he turned his car around. Still only back in 4th position, so all is not lost.
No, all is not lost. And like we said, the last race is double points. So as long as he just kind of stays right there, it's going to come down to the last race no matter what. You just don't want to make the big mistake and have to DNF.
All right, here comes fan favorite Tyler Graff coming in for a stop.
Yep,
doing this on lap number 8. Yeah, lap number 9. Yeah, so makes you wonder if they can go 11 laps.
I think some people are just considering it's not going to happen. Yeah. So that way I can run full throttle the whole way. But we'll have to watch Adam Blocker as he's working at lap 9 at the moment. He's got a big gap to Steven Larkamp, so no pressure from behind. You know, he can just lift early, coast through the corners, and try to save that fuel.
Let's check in on a couple of veterans. Let's go to 14th position. Look at George Anzaldo right now being pestered by Chris Sleepy Lanini. Not always your best qualifier is Lanini, but man, does he know how to race him. Does he know how to get the car to the end? Out there in his familiar fluorescent blue and yellow car, the Value Tech machine. Not that far back is Big Joe Hazard. Boy, there's a lot of races entered when you add up those. Anzaldo, Lanini, and Big Joe Hazard. A lot of Lionheart experience there.
Yep, those guys are running about half a second apart there. Not much, not close enough to make a challenge. We do have Dustin Wardlow right up the tail of Steven Larkamp coming up the front straightaway. Not sure he's going to make a move. Doesn't look like it, but he might. Looks like he's just coasting into the corners. So he's probably definitely using Steven as a wind pusher there to hopefully get to that 11th lap.
Oh, in 6th position, we have a change. And it's Connor Harrington and Dan Garrett. Now, those guys have been swapping. Remember, Harrington got through around Garrett as he followed through. Now, here comes the pass. This will be right on board with Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett's trying to make that pass going on the inside into turn 1, but they go side by side through turn 1, which is definitely possible. But as they come down into turn 3, they count this little bend as a turn. But this is technically turn 3, and Dan just kind of gives it to him.
So Garrett makes a stab. It actually had the spot, but the rookie Connor Harrington was not going to give it up.
All right, so we're working lap 10. Adam Blocker's coming down the backstretch toward Canada Corner. So he's definitely going to at least get to lap 11. As he crosses the line, even if he goes into the pit lane.
And back in 4th position, we told you he was coming. Andrew Kinsella. Now, Justin Weaver made a mistake. That got him back there, but Kinsella on the hunt. Up another spot. We're going to take a look on the replay. And while this is going on, Blocker and Larkamp and Wardlow all come in. Here's the pass. And when we come back live, you're not going to see Kinsella out on the track. You're going to see him in pit lane with Justin Weaver, as it is a pit party on lap number 10. Nobody is going that extra lap. I can hear the graphics guys right now yelling at me, making them look bad, as I made them put that extra lap on there. Everybody coming in. Adam Blocker is our leader. He's our spotlighted driver here today, too. Take a look at this. You can see those numbers as we give you that recorded version of him. Hey, let me give you some details on those things. 5th all-time in poles. 4th all-time with wins there with 8. 10th all-time with top 5s, 18. How about top 10s? He's got 21 of those in 33 starts. You can see that he either does well or he does really bad. And as that's going on, there's a big exit out of pit lane now. People are starting to leave. Blocker was first in, first out. Let's look at 2nd position. This is Larkamp and Wardlow.
Yeah, those guys came in together, left together. So they're tied at the hip right now. Adam Blocker still has he's got a healthy 8-second lead, so he just has to not make any mistakes, and this race is pretty much going to be his.
Okay, I talk about it all the time. I talk about the early peel, late reveal. You want to see an example of it? Let's go to 6th position. Samuel Ryman. Remember we talked about him making that early stop? Well, he already decided that this is a 3-stop race. He took his splash and go at the very beginning. Right now, he races in 6th. That's how you do it, Sammy. You peel off early. What's revealed? You find yourself up front.
Absolutely. And the only way you can make that work is by coming out and clear traffic and then just putting some good laps down. He's got Justin Weaver, so he's jumped Justin Weaver, who was running in about 4th or 5th position, and so nice job for Sam. Good strategy so far.
So he's got Justin Weaver back there really working hard to find a way around. Let's stay on this a little bit because I think coming down the straight, in fact, Sam, now this is interesting. Sam, it's time for him to take a stop. You pit on lap 1, you can only go 10 laps. That means you got to pit on lap 11. Well, Sam, your little Andy Warhol 15 minutes of fame, and now you go back to the back of the pack.
One thing I'd like to point out is Andrew Kinsella. I looked at his pit stop. I don't know if he had a problem, but he came out. He's in 13th at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he sat in the box for a while. It's a good chance that he was speeding, and he got a little bit of a penalty because he came in 4th or 5th and dropped all the way down to 13th. So all that hard work has gone away. So he's definitely got some work ahead of him with lap 12 of 31.
Good battle there. You like candy? We're going to jump you around. Let's go up to 2nd position because the Candy Man right now, man, he is really on the hunt. Does not have a great run through the carousel, though, and he loses a little bit of ground, but he has been all over the gearbox of Stefan Larkamp. Let's watch through the kink. Let's see what kind of run he gets down here, and does he want the position even?
He's definitely close enough to make the position, but it looks like he's just kind of lifting and just kind of hanging tight and not really willing to take a chance just yet.
Let's go ahead and stay on this all the way into corner number 1. This will tell us if Wardlow is serious about this or not. Boy, he just not sure what kind of exit he had out of that final corner, but my gut tells me that Dustin is going to sit back here and just race behind Stefan for a little while.
Yeah, he did drop his left tires into the dirt trying to get on the straightaway, so he did lose some momentum. But, he's been behind him since the beginning. But, both these guys are doing good with Stefan starting 4th, running 2nd. Dustin running where he started. Another mover in the race here is Tyler Graff, has moved up to 7th from 13th. He was one of our early pit stops, too. So that's paid off for him so far.
Yeah, Tyler did a different strategy. He's going to break it up into what I guess would be 4 equal stints. Boy, another nice battle. I hate as we ride on board with Tyler. Don't mean to jump you around quite so much. But just ahead, you can see the battle that I was about to talk about. Maybe you can just watch it here from the cockpit. And this is the battle between Harrington, Weaver, and Guerin.
Weaver's trying to make up for that mistake he made early on. He was running 2nd, right behind Adam Blocker, the leader, but he did have a little half spin and lost some track position, so he's trying to make that up at the moment.
And we talked about the double points race coming up in Fontana. Guerin is in the position where he really cannot afford to count too much on that, as he had that 31-point gap to the leader, so he really needs to have a good finish here today to get him a little closer. Doesn't have to quite work so hard in California. Harrington with a bad exit out of Canada. That's going to bring Weaver right up on him. And again, I'm not sure if the Moby Dickey's machine of Justin Weaver actually wants that position.
Oh, I think he wants it. I think he's looking to get back up into that
Here he comes.
top spot. He's got the draft, take the inside. Pretty tight right there along each other down the straightaway, but he's got that position going into turn 1. Dan Guerin's going to tighten up behind Connor Harrington. And you're talking about Dan Guerin, with that 31-point gap. Well, he's ahead of Andrew Kinsella by quite a bit. So he is making points up on Andrew at the moment, and but he is losing a few more points to Adam.
If you're interested on what we call pocket points here at GSRC, that's the largest drop race that a driver has in his pocket in case disaster strikes. Adam Blocker really not in that good position as they get to drop 3 races in this series. He had 3 races that were 30th or worse. So if he were to finish bad, he's going to have to score one of those bad results. And that's good news for the guys behind him, like Kinsella and Guerin.
Yeah, Guerin had some bad finishes too at the beginning of the year. So I think out of all of them, probably Andrew has the best reserve. But it's going to be close enough here where I don't think that's going to matter with this double points at the end. So all these guys just need to do a clean race. I know Andrew's probably disappointed with whatever happened, penalty or whatnot. But it's going to come down to that final battle.
Oh, Jason Galvin has had a rough day, and his day continues to be not smooth as he spins it. Coming out of 6th. Does a good job of not backing up right in front of Brian Greenlee. Samuel Ryman goes by as well. Again, can't forget about this. He backs up a little bit, then he holds it, and he lets those cars go by. So the Bakerfield boy having some troubles today. Come back live, looking at Galvin. Racing in 24th.
It'll be interesting to see how this works out for Ryman.
Let's go to 9th real quick. This is Goodman. Here comes Kinsella. I think Kinsella's got a shot at him into 3. Doesn't get it done.
Ooh, Goodman.
Oh!
Goodman just chopped the nose off, and Andrew tried to get on the gas a little early. He spun the tires, and now he's lost a couple more spots to Krahula and Yazik.
Little rhinoplasty practice there by Michael Goodman.
And now he's got Scott Bolser all over the back of him as well.
It's a fun battle here.
And not the end of the world, but he did lose a couple of spots.
Kinsella back in 12th.
Up front, Adam Blocker's just running away with this thing. He's 12 seconds up now. He's made up 4 seconds on the field since the last pit stop.
We don't need to go there, but Dustin Wardlow is really beginning to bug this commentator as he continues to make stabs at Stefan Larkamp for 2nd position, but refuses to pull the trigger.
Yeah, they're coming up the front straightaway right now. I was going to say, we'll see what he's got. We were looking at that earlier.
That just means, as a punishment, we are not going to cover your pass live when you actually make it. Here he comes one more time. See? All right, now he must be listening to the broadcast. And now he's going to make the pass for us here.
Yeah, right down the inside. And Steven doesn't make it easy for him. But he's got the pass done. Larkamp's got a little bit of a bigger picture to think about than just one position on the track. But Dustin's been sitting behind him the whole race. And now he's deciding that he's going to try to kill those bugs in front.
There you go. Interval to Blocker, 13.7 seconds. But we've seen, as he goes really wide out of 5 there, he's going to give it back to Larkamp? No. Let's drop back a couple spots to 5th position. This one continues to be fun. You got the rookie Connor Harrington. You got Dan Guerin. Those guys have swapped positions 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, they brought up along with Tyler Graff. Tyler's doing a good job from 13th to 7th, but he's close.
Oh, and I was just gonna. He did it before I could say it. Connor Harrington puts it in the wall. I was going to talk about 2 rookies. Tyler Graff and Harrington are total opposites. Harrington is fast, but you never know what's going to happen. Tyler Graff not so fast, but he always gets it to the end. And before I could get the comment out of my mouth, Connor Harrington puts it in the wall. I thunk it into reality.
Unfortunately, he's had to take a tow, so he is effectively out of the race. So, too bad for Connor. Just got on the gas a little too early, and around he went. And unfortunately, there's not much runoff there.
For you Twilight Zone fans, I think I thought him to the cornfield there. Okay, Krahula in 8th, Kinsella now in 9th. There it is, Krahula. It's got to be yellow, right? Tell me the car's yellow.
It is fluorescent yellow.
Yeah, all right.
And here comes Kinsella up the inside, going into turn 1. Looks like he's going to get that pass done. James doesn't give him much of a fight and move Kinsella up one more spot to 8th now.
Mistake, and that's another spot. There you see him coming at you. You know, we had so much to do in the pre-race show, I don't think we actually talked about the weather. Oh! Andrew Kinsella doesn't want us to talk about the weather right now, as he almost loses it. There you go. Hey, that may be an indication why these guys are having such a hard time out there. 108 degrees Fahrenheit for track temperature. Woo.
Yeah, that is hot. That is very hot, and making those rear tires slick. As you can see, some of these guys, most of our spins have almost all been out of those slow speed corners as they're trying to accelerate, just kind of lighten it up. So saw Andrew having a little trouble as he had before, but was able to hang on there and continue.
Our director and myself signed on to the session about the same time, and the first thing we both noticed was, my gosh, it is bright out here in Wisconsin. It could be the new build with the transition of time, but it was bright, and certainly you can see that the sun is shining down on this track as we ride on board with the Clipping That Apex car of Ed Tutwiler. Tyler Graff coming in for his second stop as he breaks it up into three stops, 4 equal pieces.
Yeah, and I was saying this earlier, but I'm interested to see how this works out for like him and Samuel Ryman, who's on a totally different pit strategy, and he's back up to 20th spot. Samuel is, but be interesting to see how it plays out as we get to those next to last pit stops.
As you saw Tyler Graff come in, of course, he is racing in our Lock Precision onboard camera machine. Let me tell you a little bit about Lock Precision. For over 30 years, the name Lock Precision has been synonymous with mid and high-powered rocketry. Lock Precision manufactures a full line of high-quality precision fit components to satisfy the Major Tom inside of you. I hadn't seen that. I wrote that a long time ago. Forgot that. I put that thing in there. Be the man they think you are at home at lockprecision.com. Fly hard, fly safe, fly lock. I made myself laugh with my own script there. Stop it, Soup. All right, we're riding on board. Now we look at, who are we looking at there? We're looking at, that's Tyler Graff out there in the Lock Precision machine. Now this is interesting. Graff has made 2 stops, as has Samuel Ryman. So you think they'd be close to each other? Well, they pretty much are. Graff in 17th, Ryman back in 19th. The cushion between them, Scotty Johnson.
Yeah, we do have a pass here with Andrews making a move on Chris Stouffer, taking that 6th position. So Andrews been on a move for making up that penalty he had. So he's definitely on a streak to try to get back close to the front. He's got to get at least up to try to get ahead of Dan Guerin and try to take some more points away from him. Adam Blocker's gone with this one. He's 13.8 seconds just on 2nd place alone. So, you know, right now Andrews can't really worry about that. He's just trying to get as much as he can. You know, Andrews got about 5-second gap up to Dan Guerin, but he's running about half a second a lap faster, so he definitely will be catching him. I don't know if he'll catch him before the next round of pit stops, but he's definitely making up some time. Those next round of pit stops should be coming up here. P3 here, yep. Justin Reaver's right on the back of Steven Larkamp, so this battle's heating back up. And same thing, Justin's trying to make up for a mistake he made early on. He was in a really good 2nd place position early on. Ooh, Steven goes off the track and loses all that speed. And there goes Justin Weaver, just as we were watching on board.
Rookie around rookie there as they sit in the top of the charts. They seem to find each other.
Yeah, I was going to say that. They seem to be right around each other almost the whole season, so I guess that's indicative of why they're only 8 points apart.
It reminds me of a war movie where the 2 armies attack each other Somehow the two generals always seem to find each other out on the middle of the battlefield. They start swinging swords at each other. That's kind of like Weaver and Larkamp. No matter how many cars are out here, no matter the chaos going on around them, they are drawn to each other like magnets.
Yeah, this race is going down pretty fast clip here. We're already working lap 20 of 31. We should be seeing the majority of the leaders coming in this lap as Adam Blocker's working his way through the kink, heading towards Canada Corner. So this is going to kind of lead on to our last final run here, and then that's where I want to see where Samuel falls in.
And this will tell us a lot as Blocker is about to put a lap on Robert Bluen. Now, if Blocker can manage to stay out one more time, then he can two-stop it, but we'll see right now. We expect him to have to come in. Let's see if he does.
He's coming up the front straightaway, and he's going to go squeeze one more lap. So there you go. There's your answer. We'll see what Dustin Wardlow does.
That's the 11-lap stint that they needed.
Yep, here comes Dustin Wardlow. Yep, he's going to make it as well.
Weaver
right
does
behind
not.
him, though, Weaver's going for it, so he's going to try to make that 11-lap stint on the end side instead of the middle. Stephen Larkamp's going around again as well, so this will be interesting to see how this plays out between Stephen and Larkamp and Justin Weaver. Andrew Kinsella's coming in. He's not going to squeeze it this one. And he's also bringing in Chris Stouffer, James Krahula, Brian Yazik, whole group of them.
I wonder if that first stint wasn't kind of a learning stint for everybody. Let me go 10 laps and see what I need to do. That'll give me an indication of what I need to do on the next one. So what that means is, assuming that these guys who are going this extra lap, and that includes Blocker and Wardlow, assuming they get all the way around this 4-mile course, they should be good to go with no more stops. Boy, what a cushion that's going to be. The rest of these guys will have to do their 11-lap stint this time.
Yeah, it can go either way. Andrew Kinsella's coming out of the pits, and he has just given up the spot to Tyler Groff. Tyler Groff came out right around him, so that's working out for Tyler a little bit. But he's going to have to come in one more time, and so that's not going to work out, I guess.
Well, at least he's not going to be surprised. Tyler Groff was thinking that, as was Samuel Ryman with his early stop and go. Now Blocker comes in.
Yeah, Blocker comes in, as well as Dustin Wardlow should be coming in. Our second place driver, Stephen Larkamp, our third place driver, coming in. We'll see how they come out relative to the other gentlemen who were pitted the lap before. Justin Weaver was ahead of Stephen Larkamp, wasn't he, before the pit stop?
Yes. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yep, Justin's coming up just out of Canada Corner at the moment. Coming up towards turn 14. Stephen Larkamp's just getting into his box at the moment. It comes down to how having that hot out lap. So Justin Weaver's definitely going to pass Stephen Larkamp. He's going right on by him at the moment. So that was a good strategy. He's going to gain some time on him as well.
There you go. Now, just coming across the start-finish line right now, Tyler Groff in 7th. And actually, that's going to be 6th as he gets past some cars in pit lane. And Kinsella in 7th. Stouffer in 8th. So with that, we're looking here at this battle with this is Groff. Kinsella really wants this spot. Right behind him now as they come into 5.
Yeah, I mean, he knows Tyler's got to make another pit stop, so it was just hurting his track position, getting held up a little bit. So he needs to make that pass as soon as he can. As he has Chris Stouffer right behind him as well. Right down at the bottom of the hill, you got James Krahula, Brian Yazik, all those guys that came in with Andrew. Andrew's been running some pretty good lap times. He's been trying really hard, as you can see by the little mistakes he's made. So he knows what's at stake here.
The problem for Kinsella is he needs to do an 11-lap stint if he wants, unless he wants to make that stop.
He you don't want to have to make that stop. So you're absolutely right. He's got an 11 lap stint. So I don't know if he'll sit behind Tyler for a little bit, save a little fuel. It seems like Adam Blocker and Dustin Wardlow made that happen pretty easily. Adam wasn't slowing down. Blocker wasn't slowing down much on his lap. So, I don't know how close they are. But, Andrew's making a stab at him going into turn 14. Getting a good run up that front straightaway. I'm going to assume he's going to try to make a move into turn 1 here.
We've seen Kinsella run long many, many, many races. In fact, he has a reputation for doing that. So I'm sure he can do 11 laps. The question is, can he do 11 laps and still race Tyler Groff, who has another stop to make? Tyler's racing full throttle right now.
Yeah, I mean,
because he knows he can't go there.
On this track, this is a good track to learn how to save fuel, because the best way to save fuel is just kind of brake a little earlier, but brake less, coast a little longer. So you have these long duration corners where you can get off the gas and just kind of coast. And if you're really good at it, you don't lose too much time. So it's just a little bit of a technique. Ooh, Andrew almost loses it there. Coming out of turn 5, he had a problem there earlier. Got up on the bumps there and tried to accelerate. And he's lost a little bit of spot to Tyler, but you can see Andrew is really pushing hard.
You talked about him getting up on the bumps, and I'll tell you, if you really want to feel that, what you need to have is a butt kicker product. If you're a sim racer looking to add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism to your session, butt kicker is the way to go. A butt kicker moves actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. See all the family of butt kicker products at thebuttkicker.com. Use promo code LION20 to get 20% off your order. And how about Scott Bolster? Qualified in 11th position, just got around James Grahul, and now up into 9th. Just behind him, the fluorescent car of Grahula.
I was going to say
another fluorescent blue machine of Yaza. Go ahead, Rich.
I was just going to say Bolster had a little bit of an issue at the beginning. I believe he was one of our earlier pit stops, and so he's definitely making his way back through the field. Right in front of him is Chris Stouffer, started 14th, running 8th, so nice job for him.
All right, now it finally happened. The Candyman had been being challenged by Justin Weaver. Oh my goodness, and as we speak, Justin Weaver just loses the car. Let's go ahead. This might be long enough that we can stay on this long enough here. As we're linking to make sure. No, I think let's go ahead and stay on
yeah, right up here we got Dustin's. Yeah, right here, Dustin's going to lose it going into the corner. But going back to what my producer was telling me, Big Joe had a big moment out there, and he has destroyed the front of his car.
Oh my! What? That was not a little issue. That was Big Joe Hassard right in front of Samuel Ryman.
Yeah, Big Joe is going to lose it here. He's going to get on the gas, lose the rear end. Samuel has nowhere to go but to kind of punt him right around into the wall. Big Joe's car is destroyed. He's in the pits, missing the front wing. Samuel Ryman's coming in the pits. He's missing his front wing as well. So there we go. Nowhere to go. I mean, Samuel did the right thing by just hitting him straight on, try not to make it worse, but just kind of one of those incidents. Not much they can do about that. Meanwhile, going back to what we were talking about with Dustin Wardlow and Justin Weaver, Justin made that pass, and Dustin tried to stay with him. Coming up over the top of the hill, lost it, and kept going, but he's lost a lot of track position. Scott Bolster's coming in for his final stop there. So Justin Weaver made the pass. He's now almost 4 seconds ahead. So Justin Weaver, after that early mistake, has got himself back up to where he was, although he's 16 seconds now behind Adam Blocker, but nice job for him as he tries to get a little gap from Steven Larkamp, his closest competitor in that butt kicker Rookie of the Year standings.
If I were the Lionheart group, I would keep Adam Blocker off of the scheduling committee because he tried to schedule and sneak in a few more road courses. Man, he is something else. On his way to go 7 out of 8 if he can get this win. Of course, he's not there yet. 7 laps to go.
Yeah, and a lot of his wins have been pretty dominant. You know, it's like we're seeing right now. I remember, I believe Motate, he won that race too, and I believe that was pretty dominant win as well. They haven't been very close for him, so he's done a good job. Very doesn't make a lot of mistakes, so and that's part of it, right? You know, qualify up front, keep your nose clean. You know, I think Andrew, he's just as fast, but he seems to not get the qualifying lap in as Adam has. And then he has to work a lot harder to get up there.
19 drivers trying to pull a Richie Hearn. Finish on the lead lap right now. Chris Lanini, the last car on the lead lap in 19th spot.
I'm kind of proud of that.
Yeah, 150 laps, you finished them all. Making his third and final stop is Tyler Groff. He stopped at lap 8, he stopped at lap 16, and he's stopping at lap 25.
So should be a pretty quick stop here. He's going to lose 1 or 2 positions. He's got down off the jacks. Heading on out right now. So not terrible. Well, there goes another spot right by. Not terrible, but probably not what he was looking for. I think the best strategy was just the traditional one.
Coming out in 13th, but again, it's hard to know how many of these guys ahead of him can get there. So, with what we think most of the pit stops done, let's take a second to walk the dog here real quick as I take you through the field. Adam Blocker out in front by 16.5 seconds. Justin Weaver was in that battle with Dustin Wardlow. Wardlow had the spin. Weaver's comfortable in second. Wardlow fell back to third. And I thought he was going to fall into the clutches of the other rookie, Stefan Larkamp, but that's not the case. Larkamp about 3 seconds behind. Then rounding out your top 5, Dan Guerin. Try as he might, he just can't make up any ground. Qualified in 6th, racing in 5th. Richie, you want to take the next 5? Start with Andrew Kinsella.
Yeah, Andrew Kinsella running the 6th spot. Qualified 9th. He's had his troubles. Had a few kind of half spins. Had I believe, a penalty in the pits. So he's had to work his butt off to get up to this spot. He's not giving up. I mean, Dan Guerin's in the fight for the championship. So, you know, he's going to try to get ahead of Dan, but doing a good job. Right behind him, James Krahula. He's in a heavy battle with Brian Yazik, who's right behind him. Michael Goodman right behind them. And that's for 8th, 9th, and 10th there. Sorry, Christopher's in 10th. That's 7th, 8th, and 9th. And Christopher rounded out that 10th spot.
Just making his pit stop, yeah.
Yeah, just coming out of the pits. I just noticed that.
So Brian Beard looks to be the driver in 10th, and Pierre Nightingale. So that's one of those drivers we talked about with Tyler Groff being in 12th, or actually 13th at the time. Was it a real 13th? Well, no, because Stouffer had to make a stop. So
got to give a shout out to Pierre Daigle. I don't know what he did on his pit stops, but he is running 12th after starting 20th. So he's only stopped once, so he has one more stop to go. I think he was one of those really early pit stops.
Yep. So there you have it. I scanned through there, see if there's anybody we haven't given any love to on this broadcast. What do you think, Director? Maybe Brian Beard? Have we shown Brian much? Let's top 10 run maybe deserves a little more love from the Global Sim Racing channel. Let's go down to 15th, he says. We're going to talk about George Anzaldo and Jason Galvin. Anzaldo puts it off in the sand a little bit. Galvin trying to make up for a horrible run that he's had. Good battle going on down here between these two veterans.
Yeah, and I believe George has made both his pit stops, so nice run from 22nd to 15th. He's still in the lead lap. We have 18 cars on the lead lap at the moment.
And Zalda was involved on that lap 1 incident that took out the Watchman. Of course, when I talk about the Watchman, I'm talking about Mark Cohn. Oh, do we take a quick look here at 7th position? This indeed was a pass, yes. This is Michael Goodman who got around James Krahula.
Yeah, nice battle there. And they've got Brian Yazek chasing them down as well.
Here's a driver we'll look for a driver we haven't talked much about. Well, here's one right here. Michael Goodman, really quiet as he gets the 6th spot. Boy, gobbles up that yellow machine like it's standing still.
The draft is really strong here, so if you can get a good run onto those corners, onto the straightaway.
He's coming back on him.
Yep, just like we're seeing. But it is hard to get the car slowed down because, you know, you're coming in pretty fast, got low downforce. So you almost have to get the pass made before you get to those braking zones.
Let's stay with this a bit as Goodman begins to pull away. I'm not sure that Krahula is close enough, unless he gets a really good run out of that final corner to have a shot at Goodman. Nope. Michael's saying, see you later, boy, like you are a skater, boy, as he pulls away now from Krahula back in 8th.
Yeah, not much going on up front. We got Adam Blocker 16 seconds ahead. Everybody's separated about by 5, 3, 2 seconds. So the battle between Goodman and Krahula is probably the best battle on the track, but Krahula's not quite close enough to make the pass as we watch Adam Blocker just smoking these guys out here. No mistakes made, just doing his thing.
Contraire, I found a battle for you. 25th position, Matthew Mercer and Ed King Tutwiler. Yes, these guys are a lap down, but they're putting on quite a show. Mercer in the dark car, Tutwiler behind him. Go, Rick.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say, they're putting on a show, but right behind them was the battle we were watching before, is Goodman and Krahula.
Fun.
Yeah, so we got 2 battles going on, even though they're different laps. And here goes Tutwiler on the inside of the carousel. Wow, that's a brave place to make a pass. But here comes Goodman and Krahula right behind these guys, so they're going to get in the mix.
Oh, and here comes Mercer back on trying to make a pass in the kink. Tutwiler closes the door. Mercer gets off of the grass. Krahula goes by. Yeah.
Krahula goes by Goodman. So there we go. Just use him as a pick there.
Krahula's going to show you how it's done as now he gets behind Tutwiler.
2 laps to go, so we're going to see who can make it on fuel. I think everybody's probably pretty good, but you never know. There goes Krahula around the lap car. Is that Tutwiler?
Yep, that's Tutwiler. Goodman goes by. Now, Goodman had worked so hard to get around Krahula. Then they ran up behind the battle we were looking at between Tutwiler and Mercer. That's the beauty. Even though this lap is 4 miles around, you can still have lap traffic cause you some trouble.
Yeah, there still looks like we still have basically 27 cars circling around the track, so still a healthy field. We only have about 5 cars that have dropped out.
And we quickly go to 16th position to give Scotty Johnson some love before he goes a lap down. Oh, we're looking at this battle on the screen. Hang on, we're going to stay there for a minute. This is for P10.
Yeah, Pierre Daigle, once again, great job up to 10th spot, starting 20th, but he's got Tyler Graff all over the back of him.
Yep. Now, Daigle might be in the position of having to nurse this car around to do that 11-lap stint. And we know that Graff is doing a 3-stop race, so he's racing full speed. Oh, so much for the driver in second being able to do it on 2 stops. Justin Weaver has had to come in.
Wow. That's
that's a crusher.
That's gonna be disappointing because he worked very hard to get that position up. Maybe he had to work too hard and used up too much fuel. It's gonna lose spots to his rival Stefan Larkamp, who's now in second. We're on the final lap, so I'm sure some of these guys might be sweating it. So we'll have to keep an eye out there.
Not going to be too bad for Weaver. He's going to cycle out in 5th position. Maybe if he gets out in front of Krahula, he does.
Yeah, but it did give Andrew Kinsella 1 more spot.
It did indeed. Oh, Brian Beard is not going to make it as he has to make that stop.
Got to give a shout out to Dan Guerin, who's We haven't said much about him, but he's sitting third right now. Oh, he's now sitting second as Larkamp loses it on his own. There you go, man. We're gonna have Stan Guerin moving on up into second spot. There he is for the finish.
And coming across the line, let's give the Lock Precision Grand Prix at Road America to Adam Blocker. Second position, I believe, is going to be Dandy Dan Guerin. Christmas comes 10 days early for Dandy Dan. Assuming he has enough fuel to get to the end, he's got to hustle. Stefan Larkamp wants that spot back. Dan Guerin gets second. Larkamp gets third. You know, Andrew Kinsella is fourth. So the three guys up in the points race go 1, 2, 4. And here's the fun battle for sixth. This is Krahula in the fluorescent machine. Michael Goodman wants the spot back. He's got to run. There might be enough time for Goodman to get there. Because the start-finish line's a long way away. No. Back to ninth. Remember this battle? Here it is. Daigle and Tyler Groff. Also in the mix is Stouffer. Oh no!
On the last corner.
Pierre loses not one, but 2 spots.
Another car ran out of gas right in front of Brian Yazik or Chris Stouffer. Was that? No?
That's Robert Bluen ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Mike Rigney is trying to get to the end. Scott Bolson was able to negotiate his way around those cars. For 13th position, it's Brian Beard who had to make that late stop ahead of the boy from Bakersfield, Jason Galvin. I believe it's going to be Beard in the Baker's dozen position and Galvin in 14th. You see this dead car of Robert Bluen asking for somebody to give me a push.
Yeah, it's all uphill, too.
We're looking Pierre Nightingale, 1 corner away.
Oh, he just got a little wide on the entry, and that was it. He had that car on the inside. It might have changed his concentration, but you got the Robert Bluen here running out of gas, and that was pretty exciting.
All right, with that said, our broadcast, the racing is over, but our broadcast is far from done. Don't go far, though, because we'll come back to give you the Plasma Track Victory Lane post-race show, where we'll talk to some of the drivers, put a lock on the gate, and run down the entire order before we lock up the gate. Back in a few. I know the order.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel and the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane Post Race Show. Hey, if you're struggling to find something for the person who has everything, do I have the website for you? Plasma-Tracks.com not only produces original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, and motorsports fabrications are also available. Words can't do justice to the uniqueness of their wares. The only way to fully appreciate their artwork is to see it for yourself. But I'm warning you, one visit, the next thing you know, you'll be trying to tell the person you live with why you need a plasma track wall art hanging in your home. See it all at plasma-tracks.com and use this promo code LSR2018 to get 25% off your order. I doubt if they'll have time to produce something for you for Christmas, but you can still get your order in and you can show the person you're giving the gift to what they're going to get. Boy, would they be excited. That'd be their original gift to give somebody. All right, let me give you a gift right now, and I'll try to run down the finishing order for you before we sign off, because I know the order of how this Plasma Tracks Victory and Post Race Show works. Adam Blocker is your winner, basically wire to wire. Dan Guerin, talk about this. He's racing back there quietly. Then Justin Weaver has to make an extra pit stop. Stefan Larkamp spins, and all of a sudden, the man who's third in points finds himself second on the track. He's going to finish in second position. Stefan Larkamp in third. Andrew Kinsella and Justin Weaver go fourth and fifth. Back after your top 10, James Grahula, Michael Goodman, Brian Yosik, Tyler Graff, and Chris Stouffer. Richie?
Yeah, coming up in 11th spot, it's going to be Pierre Daigle there. Had a great run. Still had a good run, but just had a little bit of an incident, which we caught on camera there in the last corner. Finishes 11th. Behind him be Scott Bolster in 12th. Brian Beard in 13th. Jason Galvin 14th. George Gonzalo, good run from 22nd to 15th. First car lap down, Scotty Johnson in 16th. Chris Lagnini 17th. Paul Jenkins 18th. Tony Schoen 19th. And Brandon Limkerman in 20th.
These guys still only one lap down in the blackjack position. Brian is not easy being Greenlee ahead of Joe Cannigan Flanagan in the double ducks position. Ed King Tutwiler in 23rd. Ahead of Matthew Mercer and newcomer Mike Rigney. 26th, 27th, 28th goes to the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, Robert Bluen, and Samuel Ryman, who got caught up with that incident. I believe it was with Big Joe Hassard, who comes home in 29th. And 30th, it's Connor Harrington, the fast rookie, once again, not able to bring it home safely. The Watchman, Mark Cohn, got caught up in an early incident. He finishes in 31st, 23 laps down, and Isaiah Cousin Dupree, the last car, in 32nd. I have the honor of talking to our race winner, and it is Adam Blocker. Adam, I'm going to go right to it. Had me a little bit scared there when you came in on lap number 10 for that first stop. Did you know you could do it in 2?
Yeah, I was pretty confident in it. I did 10 laps in the first stint because the pace lap here is so long that you burn a lot of fuel, and it's really hard to make that fuel number. But I found the fuel number to make 11 wasn't that bad. And actually, a lot of times when I'm saving fuel and lifting and coasting, it helps me get into rhythm and be more consistent and not make mistakes. So, kind
of. The 4-mile pace lap, of course, we didn't take that into consideration. That makes sense. All right. We'll get you out of here on this one. Yes, you win. That's the good news. I guess the bad news is that the guys that are right next to you finished 2nd and 4th. So going to Fontana, to Auto Club Speedway, boy, you make a mistake and your season, all that hard work, it goes away.
Well, to be honest, it turned out better than I thought it would, because I thought Cancelo was going to be 2nd based on his pace and practice and stuff. He probably would have been 2nd if he hadn't been speeding in the pits, but I was hoping for even better, because I think Wardlow and Weaver both had to make stops at the last second for fuel. But yeah, I thought Weaver was going to make the race interesting from the beginning. I only beat him by a few thousandths of a second in qualifying, and then the first 7 laps we were nose to tail, and it took me a while to break the yo-yo from him. And, once I think he spun on maybe the 8th lap or something. I think it's because he locked his rears, because on the exact same corner, I felt a little bit of rear lockup, and I almost spun, but I just released the brake and went to the outside of the corner, moved the brake bias forward, and kept going. So.
All right, I lied to you. I told you I was going to get you out of here on this one. I'm not. Let's talk about the weather. 108 degrees. It was hot out there. Slippery?
Yeah, one interesting thing is with the new cloud cover and everything that iRacing introduced in the last build. I don't know if you noticed, but well, most of the time we were practicing in like 105 to 108 temperatures, and then for qualifying it was 115. So that's why the times were a little bit slow in qualifying because it was really slick and really tricky. It was a really nice dynamic that iRacing added, that changing track.
All depends on what cloud you got in front of you there. Hey, all right. Well, we'll see you in 1 week as we head to California. Good luck for the championship.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to Adrenaline. We've clinched our first team championship today, so that's really nice. I want to thank Andrew, Tony, Chris, Joe, and the other Joe for all their work throughout the season. It feels great to get a team championship with them, and yeah, I wouldn't want to race with another group of guys.
All right. Good luck the rest of the way. That's Adam Blocker, your winner here today. Richie, who you got?
We got Dan Guerin lined up. Dan, how's it going?
Fantastic at the moment. You?
Oh, we're doing great. Great show you guys put on. Kind of a quiet race for you. Started sixth. Really just kind of did your thing, and then boom, all of a sudden you're in second place at the checkered flag.
Yeah, I was just telling the guys. I just wanted to focus on doing the best I can. Getting fifth is what I was shooting for, fifth or better. I ran about seventh for the first stint or so. Then getting down towards the end there, people started having issues. Connor went out first. He spun off the one turn there, and then later on, Dustin ended up spinning off that same turn. Larkamp spun off the same turn. Then Weaver, he had to pit, and things just kept falling right into line there. So I was extremely happy come that last lap.
Yeah, I bet. And we kind of brought this up with Adam with the track temp being so high, and it seemed like a lot of people were having trouble just getting the power down out of some of those corners. Did you have any issues?
I just kind of babied it around most of the turns. I was, as Adam said in his interview there, that he was lifting and just kind of getting in a rhythm there, and that's what I did from the get-go. And thank God that my rhythm came first lap. And last night I struggled. The first night I struggled, and tonight I just kept with it and just got second. So I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of brought you right into that championship hunt between the three of you with double points coming up. You did gain some points on Andrew as well. Man, tough. At the beginning of the year, you were really struggling, having some bad luck, but it's been really strong lately. So nicely done. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Oh, always. Thank my teammates, of course, and thanks my sponsors as well here. Lock Precision, Midwest Simulations, and Sim Racers for Mental Health.
Awesome job there, Dan. Well, great job, and we look forward to seeing the battle go down to the wire next week at Fontana.
Oh, yeah, definitely should be an interesting race for sure. I'm pretty sure Adam's just going to kind of take it easy because he knows what he's going to have to do. So,
yeah, well, we'll see. Man, nice job.
Thanks a lot, Richie.
Dan Guerin, our second place finisher today. And now I'm going to wrap it up here by talking to, well, I don't know if I'm wrapping up, but I'm talking to Stefan Larkamp. Finished on the final spot on the podium, and maybe even more importantly, a couple spots ahead of his rookie rival, Justin Weaver. Stefan, nice job.
Thanks. Could have been a bit better, though, especially if I didn't get a bit too greedy on the throttle coming out of turn 8 on the last lap and just lit him up and let Dan go by. But overall, P3, I'm pretty happy with that, and especially since this was the one of the probably the race debut of my new teammate in the series, Connor Harrington, who's just joined the NHR effort. Pretty solid night for us. 4th and 5th in qualifying and 3rd in the race. I was definitely feeling confident coming here anyway. I love Road America, but could have been a bit better, but still pretty good result.
Okay, now we're on a road course. You always do well there. We're going to close this thing out at Auto Club. You're going to have time to get some practice in? You're going to be ready for the season finale?
Oh, certainly. My semester just ended. Finals are all well and done. And, game ready for Auto Club. I always have enjoyed Auto Club when it comes to ovals. So it should be should be pretty good. I mean, I know I've had my struggles on ovals at times this season. Just look at Charlotte and Richmond, for instance. But I do feel a little bit more confident going into a track like Auto Club, a track I've always enjoyed the rhythm of. I always enjoyed the flow of Auto Club. It's pretty fun and a good place to have the season finale. I can't wait.
All right. Well, congratulations on another semester under the belt, another top podium finish here, and we'll see you down the road.
Yep. See you guys. Let's get it.
Stefan Larkamp, third place finish today. Student at Pennsylvania University. I believe he is a marketing major. And with that said, I'm waiting to see if our director is going to tell us if we're going one more or if we are done. Let's, we have an opportunity. Let's go ahead and talk with, because he's a fan favorite and our female contingent our fans like to hear from Tyler Graff. Let's go ahead. Tyler, congratulations, ninth place finish. Caught Tyler by surprise.
I'm here.
Right.
Yeah, it was definitely an exciting last lap. I don't know if you guys were watching it, but Pierre and I think swapped spots like 3 times, and I don't know. I'm a little. I don't know if I can describe it without swearing, so I'll just refrain for now.
Yeah, that final corner was exciting, and then the swapping going into that. Let's talk about this pit stop strategy. You said forget about 2 stopping this thing. I am a 3-stop guy, 8, 8, 8, and 7.
Yeah, I back in with Motegi, I just did not have fun saving fuel, and I was making mistakes and stuff like that. And it's not like I'm a guy racing for the top 5 in points right now, missing the first 3 races. So I just kind of took the safer route. I knew who I need to beat to try to crack the top 10 in points. So I took the safe route, and it worked. I didn't think it was going to, but it did.
That's how you do it. Hey, congratulations on a good race, an exciting final lap, and a top 10 finish as you come home in 9th. We'll see you down the road in Fontana.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Tyler Graff, always fun to talk to, always fun to watch race. That's going to do it for me now. Now we do these. Here's what we do. We do these plugs, and then I put a lock on the gate and our broadcast is done. I got to thank the people who have been around for a long time. First Medical Equipment. They've been the source of medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area for years because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service. Richie?
Yeah, we'd like to thank Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add instant immersion to any game. Unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force, Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Butt Kicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. See all of the family of products at thebuttkicker.com. Use the promo code LION20 to get 20% off your next order.
My mom always told me don't touch a hot stove, and when it's time to go racing, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system. Well, Mom, you're right, because HPP Simulations, well, they're designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulation.com.
To contact any of the sponsors you see on the screen right now, go to LionheartRacingSeries.com. Click on 2018 sponsors. Read or scroll to the bottom where you can click on the company logo.
On the screen now are just some of the company's equipment and software that made this broadcast possible. The iconic music that lets your ears alert your eyes you're watching a GSRC production comes courtesy of Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde. See the screen to how to contact each of them.
The Lionheart IndyCar Series returns in 1 week, December 19th, for the Double Point Season 6 finale, the Gray Matters 300 from Auto Club Speedway. GSRC and IESN will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. Sliding across your screen right now are some upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it all at www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. And if you're not already a GSRC YouTube channel subscriber, you can become one by simply visiting our YouTube channel and hitting that subscribe button.
Finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Richie Hearn, our director, Amjad Yaman, camera czar, Dougie Beard, and try as we might, we can't forget Professor Lugnut. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun, storm of the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.